Hello race fans and welcome to another Diecast Review on tour. Previously I brought you one from a hotel near Rockingham Motor Speedway in Corby, and now I'm bringing you one from the east coast of Norfolk in a tiny little village and a rather quaint little cottage where I'm on holiday currently with my family. Well, by the time you see this review I'll be back home again, but I'm filming this whilst on a rather nice holiday with my family. It's very relaxing, and I can actually tell you that the back garden of where we're staying backs right onto the dunes and the beach itself. It's a lovely view. But as you can probably hear by the raindrops on the roof of this conservatory, it ain't exactly sunbathing weather at the moment. Never mind, I brought some diecasts from home, so let's stay in and do a diecast review, shall we? Yeah, it's on box. Yeah, that's about as much as you need to know about the box. There's no dents or scratches. And this thing got smashed to pieces. Zingy, that's a good word. Oh, excuse me. It's sloppy. I've seen paper customs on YouTube done better than this. Yes, hello race fans and welcome to Diecast Review Monday in association with Race Gear UK, which is where I got this magnificent diecast you see before you. I did pay for this one, of course. You guys probably know by now that Race Gear UK are one of the big sponsors of Team Bombersports, and they do help me out a lot, supplying me a lot with NASCAR diecast, but they're mostly 164s. So when I wanted this 118 scale diecast, I felt a little bit bad. I felt like it would be kind of taking advantage somewhat if I expected them to supply this one for free. So I definitely did pay for this one because I really did want this one. This is magnificent, and this is in fact my first 1/18 scale IndyCar diecast for my collection. I've got a second one on the way soon, which I'll tell you more about. But for now, let's deal with this one. This is Scott Dixon's 2013 Target Jip Ganassi Racing Honda DW12. Now, if I've got my facts right, I believe 2013 was one of his many championship-winning seasons, and I actually got this at Rockingham in a break from the commentary I was doing for Downforce Radio that day for the pickup truck racing series. If you haven't seen it before, you haven't heard it before, go listen to the commentary from that weekend, because it's basically Britain's touring NASCAR series. Those guys are amazing. And I popped down to the Race Gear UK stand. They were there, they had a stall, and despite the pouring rain and the elements, the pickup still raced on the oval and put on some amazing racing despite the pouring rain. And rain's a theme at the moment. Yeah, you can tell. It's getting to the end of summer in Britain, so yeah, we just about held out through the summer for no rain, but yeah, it's back in force now. But I saw this diecast on the Race Gear UK stand, and this was the day after Scott Dixon won the 2015 championship in such thrilling circumstances. I mean, how good was that finale? I mean, we can debate double points until the cows come home, but my words, IndyCar has been an extraordinarily good series this year. I've really enjoyed it. I think it's a great shame in a way that they've had so many kind of bad luck stories this year. They had the really terrible race at NOLA, which was a mix of poor conditions, poor track facility, whatever. You know, it was just a bad race all round. They had those early issues with the aero kits causing the debris cautions at St. Petersburg. Then all the flips in Indy 500 practice. Oh my word, it's so dangerous. But then we had an amazing race anyway. And then, of course, later on in the season, we had the absolute tragedy of losing Justin Wilson, which was absolutely heartbreaking. But in amongst all that, and despite the fact it happened just a week after that tragedy at Pocono, the racing has been amazing all year. And even at Sonoma in the final round, in a race probably most of the drivers didn't want to do, coming so hard off of the back of such a tragic event, they put on one more great show. And say what you like about IndyCar, I mean, it's not perfect at the moment. I still think the schedule really could do with being a bit longer than Ronda Rousey's fights. And hopefully they should be next year. There's a lot more courses coming up for next year, like Road America's back, which is awesome. There's this new street circuit in Boston. They're thinking of going back to places like Richmond and Phoenix, places like that. So the calendar could do with being a bit longer. I still think it's a bit silly that it ends in September because they're so terrified of the NFL for some reason. I don't get why that's the case. But hey, overall, I think IndyCar really is on form at the moment. It's on fire. The racing is just astonishing, both on the ovals and the road courses. I think it's, in terms of racing quality, put it this way, if you're fed up with Formula 1 for the moment, if you're disillusioned with Formula 1, kind of like I was at the start of this year, I just wasn't really feeling Formula 1 anymore. And rather than moaning about it every weekend, I thought, you know what, I'm going to get behind IndyCar. Boy, was that the right choice, because if you're not enjoying F1 racing at the moment, you want some closer open wheel racing, IndyCar's got it in spades. It's incredible. And I look forward to bigger and better things next year with both Honda and Chevrolet working more on the aero kits. Hopefully we should get even better racing next year, we'll see. So this is a great diecast of one of the greats of all time, I think. I don't think Scott Dixon gets enough credit. I mean, let me know in the comments your thoughts on Scott Dixon. I feel like some people just think he's a little bit boring, sort of the kind of safe choice, but you look at his record, he's now a 4-time champion in the series. He's got to be up there with the greatest of all time in terms of American open wheel racing, even in the world. I mean, I have a feeling, talking about F1, I have a feeling most IndyCar drivers could cut it in Formula 1 if they got the right rides. I absolutely believe that. I think it's a little bit disappointing that Haas F1 is going for tried and tested F1 drivers. There apparently won't be Americans in that seat. I don't know. I mean, on Downforce USA, on my radio show earlier this year, we were putting forward all sorts of fantasy lineups. And names that kept coming up included people like Joseph Newgarden, James Hinchcliffe, Connor Daly, Sage Karam, people like that. I mean, IndyCar has got a wealth of talent. And Scott Dixon, I believe 5 to 10 years ago, could easily have been, you know, one of the top guys in Formula 1 had he wanted to. But he stuck around in America, and look what it's paid off for him. He's just been amazing. Chip Ganassi Racing has had a stacked deck for years and years with Dario Franchitti as well, one of the greats as well. Tony Kanaan now on board as well. You've got young guys in that organisation as well. It's just a phenomenal outfit and a great team. On the NASCAR side as well, look at Kyle Larson, look at Jamie McMurray, guys like that. So Chip Ganassi Racing really know what they're doing, and in Scott Dixon they've got one of the greats of all time, I think, of open wheel racing. I mean, honestly, he's up there. He deserves to be up there, but I don't feel like people consider him that way. I feel like he's one of those drivers that kind of doesn't shout about his own record enough. I mean, he's a very lovely guy by all accounts from what I've heard. He's a very nice chap. Really cool. And at first I was a little bit disappointed. I was like, oh, Scott Dixon again, champion. And then afterwards I thought, oh, you know what? Cool. Why not? What a drive to take a championship that didn't really look like he's going into it. You know, against Juan Pablo Montoya and guys like that. As I say, you can dispute double points, but hey, we knew what we were getting into going into it, and I don't know if they'll do it again next year. I like the idea of double points for the big races. So for the Indy 500, yeah, that's fine. Like V8 Supercars do double points for the endurance races, like Sandown, Bathurst and the Gold Coast. I think Bathurst actually pays out like 3 or 4 times the amount of a regular race. But hey, it's 3 or 4 times longer and more prestigious and harder to win than a regular race. So that's fine. You know, I don't mind double points for the Indy 500. For the season decider, I don't know. I think it just muddies the waters a little bit too much. But either way, we got a great race. I mean, I remember me and Jake Sanson, who guested with me on that Diecast review. It was the Chase Elliott review, I think. We watched that on a stream in our hotel room, and we had to avoid waking the guests up in the neighbouring room. Someone knocked on the door and said, guys, can you keep it down a bit? Because it was like 1 in the morning by the time the race finished, and we were just on the edge of our respective seats. We absolutely loved it. And it's great to see other guys who are coming in, like Harrison 101, for example. I love that guy to bits, and it's great to see him as one of quite a few people who have been like, you know what, I'm kind of fed up with Formula 1. Let's give IndyCar a go. I'm really glad I did. IndyCar's great. And I say to anyone else, come join the IndyCar party. I think it's going to be great fun. Hopefully I'll be doing more stop motion stuff. I realise I haven't actually talked a lot about this diecast yet. So let's do that, shall we? Let's have a look round. It's a great diecast. I mean, Greenlight do a great job with the IndyCar diecasts, except the bottom end that we don't talk about. But then we've reviewed a lot of models this year that don't have much in terms of bottom end stuff. And I think if I've got them the right way round, it's the front end that's the road course aero kit and the rear end that's the oval aero kit, I think. You can see it's got lovely lines on it. They've captured it perfectly. It looks great. It has fantastic presence. There's the rear end with the rear pods that some people really seem to hate. I don't. There's your brake light in the middle. Exhaust coming through. There's the bottom light. There's your exhaust pipes coming up through there. And there's the lower wing, which I believe, as I say, is the oval package. And yeah, the diecast is fantastic. I love it. I'm glad I got it. It's my first 1/18 scale diecast in the IndyCar collection. I should be getting a second one very soon because I actually ordered. Pippa Mann did a limited run of her number 63 car from the Indy 500 this year for her crowdfunding campaign, and I got one of those, and it should be on delivery very soon. You'll get a diecast review of that very, very soon because I'm really looking forward to that one. I believe she signed them as well, which is awesome. Love Pippa Mann. She's great. Pretty awesome driver. I hope to see her behind the wheel a lot more next year, and a great panelist on Downforce USA. Absolute pleasure to work with her. So you'll be seeing that on the channel very, very soon. But for now, this has been my review of Scott Dixon's 2013 number 9 Target Chip Ganassi Racing Honda DW12. Less a review, more an eulogy about how good IndyCar is at the moment and how good Scott Dixon is. And the facts back it up. So I'm off back inside to hide from the rain, which is still coming down, and hopefully the sun should come out so I should get some time to enjoy the beach here. But if all else fails, there is a pub nearby with some rather nice local ales and some rather nice offerings of food. I'll go hide in there. So I'll see you next time, race fans. Join us very soon for more videos coming up on the channel. Like and share this one if you enjoyed it, and let me know your thoughts on Scott Dixon as one of the greatest of all time, and your thoughts on IndyCar as a whole. Where do you think it is? Have you enjoyed it this year? Are you looking forward to next year? I hope so, because otherwise I'm going to pronounce you dead right now because you have no heart. I will see you next time, race fans.